Oh, King Idahe shouts. No, I won't let you do this. You who stood by me after everyone left me. No, Idahe. King Ehige refused to discuss this topic anymore with his wife, Queen Idahe. Not very long ago, in a town named Okahi, near Benin in modern Nigeria, where a king named Uzodua ruled. This town, Okahi, was well known for its production of crops such as palm oil, cocoa beans, rubber, etc. This town was also rich in mineral deposits such as gold, bauxite, and precious stones. Okahi has prospered so much over the past few decades that indigents came together and decided to build a befitting palace for their king. So construction work commenced. There was a majestic Iroko tree right in the center of the king's palace. It was in the way of the building plans that had been drawn up, so the contractor, with the consent of the king, decided to cut the tree down. The day came for the tree to be cut down. As soon as the first blow landed on the tree, it began to bleed, oozing out blood like a human being. The workers became so terrified that they ran away and refused to work any further. At that same exact moment, the king's son, Prince Ige, who was sitting with his father in the palace having a chat, collapsed and became comatose. Nothing that they did, including bringing in doctors, was able to wake him up. In the midst of all this confusion, the palace manager forgot that the construction work had been stopped due to something that the contractor had reported about blood coming out of the Iroko tree. Now, King Izodua was desperate to save his son, so he summoned a powerful pastor named Pastor Chris to the royal court. Pastor Chris, upon arrival at the palace and seeing the condition of Prince Ige, informed King Izodua that 7 days of fasting and prayer was required to seek the face of God and to learn why the prince was in that condition. Hence, King Izodua ordered that no member of his household was to eat or drink for 7 days. On the 5th night of the fast, Pastor Chris had a vision. A voice from the past spoke to him, carrying a warning of ancient sins committed by King Izodua's great-great-grandfather, King Ehige, whose arrogance and greed brought ruin upon the kingdom. In the vision, the story of King Ehige unfolded, revealing his tyrannical rule and rebellion sparked by his oppressive policies. King Ehige's greed plunged his kingdom into darkness, leaving a legacy of betrayal and bloodshed. King Ehige, at the start of his reign, was married to the love of his life, Idahe. Queen Idahe was a soft-spoken woman. She was kind, patient, and also very loyal. So King Ehige loved her dearly and would do nothing without asking her opinion, and she always gave him good advice. However, Queen Idahe was yet to have a child, even after 6 years of marriage. Hence, King Ehige's mother, Iyobosa, began to pressure him to marry another wife. So, King Ehige married a second wife named Ehi. Within 3 months of marrying Queen Ehi, she became pregnant. "Can you see it, Ehige?" the queen mother Iyobosa shouted in joy to King Ehige when she discovered that Queen Ehi was with child. "We can't keep waiting for that barren woman, Idahe. Can you see it? Queen Ehi is now pregnant. We thank God." And so King Ehige began to relegate his first wife, Queen Idahe, to the background. He didn't spend as much time with her anymore, neither did he ask her opinion or advice anymore. So King Ehige married 3 more wives in quick successions. The royal house of Okahi was now fruitful. with 3 babies born in just 1 year. The new queens were rude and disrespectful and even went to the extent of ridiculing Idenhe for her childless state. The queen mother Iyobosa wasn't a wicked woman, however, she demanded success at any cost from her son, most times without even any consideration to the cost of achieving it. Iyobosa one day said to her son the king, "My son, Ehige, you need to start imposing taxes on your subjects. How else will you prosper as the king of Okahi?" So King Ehige brought this suggestion to his court and asked his chiefs what they thought. A very wise chief named Imudiase said to him, "Oba, this planting season has not been very good. The winds were poor, so your people may not have enough left to tax." King Ehige took this response from Chief Imudiase back to his mother, Iyobosa, and she said to him, "Have him arrested immediately. You need to be firm with your subjects or soon they will take the throne from you." So King Ehige had Chief Imudiase arrested for daring to have a different opinion from him. So the people of Okahi began to be taxed, and the people groaned under the weight of this burden placed on them by King Ehige. More and more, Iyobosa gave her son the king advice that would demand more and more from his subjects, and if any of his chiefs had a contrary opinion, he would have them arrested. This continued until his chiefs learned not to oppose him. However, the chiefs and the people of Okahi were not happy with their king. At this time, the land was now experiencing a drought and a famine. The rains had not fallen for a whole farming season. The immediate past farming season, the rain was quite poor, and there was hardly any crop left or any food. People were going hungry. King Ehige insisted on still collecting taxes from his subjects. His chiefs began to secretly meet and plan how to get rid of him. The chiefs conferred and agreed that it was best to leave Okahi with their families to other towns that were more productive. It first started with Iye Osaze, who had just returned from visiting her sister in Iyamu town. Her friend Iye Ofosa met her on the road and exclaimed, Iye Osaze, where have you been? I have not seen you for weeks." Iye Osaze replied, "My sister, oh, I went to visit my sister in Iyamu. That town is thriving. There's abundance of food. The people are healthy, and the king is kind, and he listens to his chiefs. In fact, I have only just returned to take my family there to avoid starving to death here in Okahi." Iye Ofosa replied, "I'm going home now to inform my husband though. I think we will have to follow your family to Iyamu. We haven't had a good meal in 1 week. I can't watch my children starve to death." And so this information was passed around the village, and people began to leave the village of Okahi in droves. Even the king's guards and his queens left with his children. The only person who remained was Queen Idenhe. Whilst the land was experiencing all these troubles, Iyobosa, the queen's mother, died. By this time, King Ehige's court was deserted, no kings came to court anymore, and even the guards had left. King Ehige and his loyal wife Idenhe mourned Iyobosa, the queen mother, alone. King Ehige became a king without subjects. He had no one to serve him or to pay taxes or homage to him. The village was deserted. King Ehige refused to desert his kingdom as well. He vowed to continue to live there till the gods smiled on him and returned back the reins and his subjects. So, to survive with his wife the queen, he resorted to hunting game and traveling to neighboring villages to sell them. Many months passed. After very much personal struggles and encouragement from his wife the queen, King Ehige had now adjusted to their new reality and had become a much more humble man. However, his wife Queen Idenhe was not happy at what King Ehige had been reduced to. She looked at him one day and shook her head. She said to herself, "Is this my husband, the great King Ehige, the Lion of Okahi?" Queen Idenhe said to King Ehige, "My husband, I think you should make the 3 days journey to Asemota to consult Idemudia, the great seer of Asemota. I believe he can help us turn the fortunes of Okahi around, bring back the rains and our people who have gone away to other villages. I think you are right, my wife, King Ehige said thoughtfully. And so a few days after, King Ehige made the journey to Asemota to consult the great Idemudia. Idemudia revealed to Ehige that the land of Okahi will see rains and the return of his sons and daughters at a great cost. A sacrifice that may lead to the loss of life needs to be carried out in the forest of Okahi. The bearer of the sacrifice items may never return back alive. So the sorrowful King Ehige returned back and informed Queen Idehen of what the seer had revealed to him. He said to Queen Idehen, "This means that the throne of Okahi is lost forever." Queen Idehen replied and said to him, "My husband, I will take the sacrifice to the forest of Okahi, and you will be the king again." Oh, King Ehige shouts, "No, I won't let you do this. You who stood by me after everyone left me. No, Idehen." King Ehige refused to discuss this topic anymore with his wife, Queen Idehen, for weeks. However, she persisted and kept on begging him to reconsider. Eventually, King Ehige gave in. The day of the sacrifice arrived, and the great Idemudia of Asemuta arrived at the palace. Queen Idehen said to King Ehige, "I am carrying the sacrifice items into the forest of Okahi to return the rains and the goodwill of the sons and daughters of Okahi to the royal household of Ehige. Okahi will be great again. I have just one request, my husband. In case I don't make it back alive, you have been given a second chance. Please use it well. Please don't forget my sacrifice." And so King Ehige and Queen Idehen made a covenant, and he planted a tree in her honor, and swore to her that the tree would stand as a memorial to her, never to be cut down. Idemudia the seer also warned the king of what the consequences would be if the sacred tree was harmed. If the tree was ever cut, it would be at the risk of the life of the eldest heir to the throne. And so to King Ehige's sorrow, Queen Idehen carried the sacrifice to the forest of Okahi, and she was never seen again. Nobody knew what became of her. In conclusion, Pastor Chris said to the king Izodua, after Queen Idehen took the sacrifice to the forest of Okahi, the rains came as the seer prophesied, and with it all the indigenes of Okahi who had left returned back to the town. The town became productive again under a reformed, wiser and kinder King Ehige, and he kept the promise that he made to Queen Idehen. The Iroko tree that was planted in her honor was not to be touched under any circumstance. It was a memorial to Queen Idehen, a woman whose loyalty and undying devotion restored the lost throne of Okahi to King Ehige. After Pastor Chris finished telling the story, he said to King Izodua, the reason why Prince Ige collapsed and became comatose was because the building contractors had tried to cut down the Iroko tree in the center of the palace. The penalty for cutting that tree is the death of Prince Ige, who is the current heir to the throne. Since the contractor got scared off by the blood they saw when they attempted to cut the tree, they didn't finish cutting it. Hence, Prince Ige was only comatose and not dead. So Pastor Chris then prayed over the young prince and he woke up. King Izodua immediately called the contractors and instructed them to leave the Iroko tree and not to harm it. Rather, they were just to adjust the plans to include the tree in it. So King Izodua gathered his household together and told them the story of King Ehige and Queen Idehen, and how despite that King Ehige relegated Queen Idehen to the background after he had more wives and children, she still loved and remained loyal to him, even when every other person left him. King Ehige didn't deserve her loyalty, yet she gave it to him. Her loyalty gave King Ehige the strength to continue to forge on, even when it looked like he had lost his kingdom, Her sacrifice brought back the goodwill of the people to King Ehige and prosperity to Okahi. King Izoduwa said to his household that the story of King Ehige and Queen Idehe is a lesson on real love and loyalty, and for that reason he had decided that he will honor the memory of Queen Idehe and leave the Iroko tree where it was, because it was a memorial and a testament to how loyalty and true love restored the throne of Okahi to his family. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the story, please share it. If you want to see more stories when I upload them, please subscribe. Finally, what do you think of this story? Is there anything you're taking home today from this story? Please use the comment box to share your thoughts. Thank you again, and see you in the next one. Bye.